Sometimes it's good to take a break from the daily life in order to reflect. I think we tend to go way too fast in life, in one direction, before even thinking if that direction is the right one to start off with.
When I'm at a bad spot like this one, I assess my life. I open up my journal and I check 6 areas specifically. And when I find that area, I can focus on it specifically and fix it before the problem gets too big for me to deal with. I'll start with number 1. Relationship fulfillment. Intimate relationships, friendships, family. I can say that most of my inner strength comes from the love I have for my relationships. Humans are naturally social animals because we depended on the power of community in order to ensure our survival. This dependence on community still applies in the modern world, even if it's less apparent today. Relationships are luckily the one area of life where I've not had many issues. But it wasn't always like that. Relationships, just like anything else, need a lot of effort to maintain. At the start they are hard because you must let the other people know you're interested in them, and I mean actually interested in them. Even then, sometimes they don't work out because of plain old incompatibility. But even with all the effort it takes to maintain and nurture a relationship, it's completely worth it. Because when you reach the point of being accepted for who you are authentically, without judgment or criticism, there's no better feeling in the world. The main takeaway here is to nurture, maintain, and foster the relationships you already have in your life. And if you aren't satisfied with the relationships you have in your life, either cut them or make new relationships. For example, call or go see your family, organize meetings with your friends, or join communities that share the same interests as you. Because in the end, I think relationships are the things we humans depend on the most. Now, on to number 2, work and career. Let's admit it, work is an inevitable part of life. Considering the average daily 8 hours we put into work and factoring school into that, we spend about a third of our lives working. And since it's like that, we must make sure that we are at least a bit interested in our job and what it has to offer. And if we find ourselves to hate our job or simply don't see a future in that, well, we have to make a change somewhere. Whether that be starting a side hustle in order to pursue your passion, asking for a higher salary, negotiating more benefits, or simply changing your job, you have to do something if you currently hate 1/3 of your life. And if you don't have access to the resources to change those things right now, well, you can at least change your mindset on how you view your work. You may have to find a balance between a job you love and loving your job. I think everyone, and I mean everyone, searches for a job they will love with no downsides at all, but that simply doesn't exist. Let's accept it. Every job will have some mundanity and annoying work, but it's important to recognize the parts that bring you joy and amplifying those parts to make sure you learn to love your job in the end. So the main 2 takeaways in this area are to either learn to love your job if you can't change it in the moment, and if you find something you can actually change in your job that will make you love it, well, make that your goal and pursue it as quick as possible. Now on to number 3, physical health. This one is pretty self-explanatory. Feeling healthy is a gateway to having more energy, being more focused, and feeling more motivated throughout the day, and much more. I believe that our bodies are very much tied to our minds, and they work in tandem with each other. So when we have a healthy body, we also have a healthy mind, and vice versa. Unfortunately, even if I do believe that, I often neglect this area of my life because I'm young, and it's easy to stay healthy at my age. But still this year, it's an area that I want to work on a bit more and build a habit of exercising. Physical health usually revolves around 3 core concepts: diet, exercise, and sleep. First off, my diet is relatively healthy since I usually cook for myself, and it's much cheaper that way and efficient for me. So I don't have much trouble in that department, fortunately, but the problem is with the other 2 departments. I really don't exercise enough, especially in the wintertime where I just want to curl up and stay inside all day. But even so, in the end, if I really wanted to do it, I would just simply do it. And all these excuses don't really matter because I'm just not doing it. But sleep, even before all those things, is probably the most important aspect of health for me. Every night I try to sleep at least 7 hours total and have a routine sleep time at 10 p.m. Because if I don't, I know it will affect me and cause me to have brain fog for the whole day, and then my whole day is gone. Health and fitness is directly tied to how tired you feel that day. It's really simple. If we stay healthy, our minds get clearer and it gets much easier to maintain the best versions of ourselves every day. Now, on to number 4, and this one might be a bit of a surprise, but it's mental strength. This is probably the area that I've paid most attention to in the past year because I've neglected it in all the previous years before it. Today I've learned to build a mindset that helps me get past tough times and view life more positively than I've ever had before. There will be hard times in your life and unlucky events, and that's where I thanked my mental strength the most. It's really easy to find someone that has no mental strength. They lack discipline, responsibility, and drive. They can't control their emotions, and they stay stuck complaining without ever taking action to fix their problems. It's easy to find for me because I was one of those people. 2 things I regret not starting sooner to build inner strength was journaling and reading. Now I try to write in my journal at least 5 days a week, and my goal this year is to read at least 20 books total in order to open myself to the world even more. Those 2 habits have changed my mental strength and life completely, and I recommend them heavily for you too. Now, number 5, leisure time, or experiences and hobbies. I believe that humans possess an innate need to create, to showcase their way of seeing the world through some form of medium. If you think you don't have a creative side, you do. We create things every day, even when we're not aware of it. The phrases we write or speak, the projects we work on, the music we shake our heads to. Everything we do is essentially creation. We also like seeking out new experiences. It prevents us from being too lost in the everyday routine of life and feeling like it has become a big blur where you can't tell one day from the next. Hobbies and leisure time serve to address both those needs in our life. A lot of people unfortunately think of hobbies or creating as something that must have value to them by helping them accomplish a future goal. But consider simply writing out something on a notepad, opening MS Paint to draw what comes to mind, buying a cheap instrument to learn your favorite song, or traveling to the next city over and exploring it without a map. I believe that time away from work is as important as work itself. It helps us become more creative and see things from a fresher perspective. Constantly seeking new experiences, relationships, and creative outlets help us remember our lives more clearly and helps add significance to it. Everything you do in this area is simply for the sake of doing that thing. You're doing this for yourself, not for anyone else to tell you if it's good or bad, or to accomplish any future goal or anything. You're simply doing this thing for leisure and to appreciate life in the moment. Now, how do you balance them perfectly, you ask? Well, unfortunately, you can't really. I believe you can only dedicate yourself fully to 1 or 2 areas at best. To concentrate on bringing one area to its fullest potential, you have to neglect another. Okay, I just gave myself anxiety by saying that. It makes me realize that my life will never be completely in balance, and that's hard to admit. But that is where the 6th area comes in. Inner peace. The only way things can be balanced is by accepting that they will never be, essentially. The Stoics first discovered the power of the mind, and how powerful accepting reality can really be. Life will always be filled with problems. The only thing that makes a difference is how you let them affect you. When I have problems, I like to choose 2 areas that need my attention the most right now in the present. And when that's resolved, usually the other ones get way easier to balance out because they're all connected in one way or another. When one area causes trouble, it usually affects your performance in all the other ones. For example, when you're going through a divorce, of course you won't be able to concentrate on your work or your hobbies or anything else in your life really. If you want an idea to how to identify problems in your life, I like asking myself the question, what area needs your utmost attention right now? And after that, I analyze it and I try to assess my life. And really, that's all you need to start your own journey. Thanks for watching, and see you again next time.